Hello everyone. In this session, I am going to discuss the development of drama. The development of drama has been divided into three parts: pre-Shakespearean drama, drama with Shakespeare, and post-Shakespearean drama. Pre-Shakespearean drama has been divided into four parts: religious drama, morality drama, interlude, and artistic drama. Religious dramas or ancient drama were the most ancient dramas, and they were the result of religious ceremony called liturgy. At the beginning of literary standard of theatre, there were only two types of plays called miracle and mystery plays. Miracle plays were dealing with the lives of saints and sainthoods or incarnation. Mystery plays were dealing with the lives of gods and goddesses. Religious plays was performed in the church only. No common public were allowed. Only church authority can see. King was the guest. They would use these biblical stories to preach. Then religious plays also opened for common man in 1600. First recorded mystery play is Lutz die Canta Catharina, which is in 1110, performed at dance table. At this time, England was divided in various church cycles, and here four cycles were very famous. First is York cycle, then Conventry cycle, third is Wakefield cycle, and fourth is Chester cycle. These cycles would perform the best dramas, and maximum dramas were written in Latin. The first recorded mystery play is Lutz die Canta Catharina. This is in 1110, written in Dunas table. York cycle has published maximum dramas, while Wakefield cycle has 30 drama. Then morality play. In religious play and in morality play, female characters are not allowed to perform the role, and common was not allowed to watch the plays in religious drama, but in morality play common man had access. Morality plays were dealing vices and virtues of society, and these plays are called didactic plays. For example, Everyman. Writer is not sure who has written, but it is believed that Ben Jonson was the writer. Then Necroman and Magnificent by Skeleton. It can be written by William Stephen. The next term is interlude. They were not the complete plays, they are just few scenes for the sake of entertainment, acted in between two serious parts of drama. Sometimes interlude were also played in parties or banquet. John Hart's 4 PS is the best interlude of its own type. Here there are four people: Pardner, Palmer, Padner, and Puthicary, and they play a game who will tell the biggest lie, and then they have a satire on women. Dramaturgy, it is a term related to drama. The next part of drama is artistic drama. It started after 1500. This is also called the fourth order of actual drama. In the age of Elizabeth, Oxford, Cambridge University came out with certain courses in dramaturgy. For the first time, there were expert theatre artists, actors, and dramatists. The first comedy ever written was Ralph Roister by Nicholas Udall in 1552. It is performed by Eton schoolmaster in Eton. And Grammar Gurton's Needle is the second best comedy written by William Stevenson. But the first tragedy is Gorboduc, and is this called Ferrex and Porrex, written in 1562, composed by Thomas Norton and Sackville. These artistic dramatists, they were well versed and well trained in art of writing drama, and they were dealing with lot of latest technique and dramaturgy devices. After that, In Elizabethan drama, university wits came from the various universities like Cambridge, Oxford, and these university wits started experimenting with certain wits. Arts university wits are 7 members. They are Christopher Marlowe, Thomas Kidd, Thomas Nash, Thomas Lodge, Robert Greene, John Lyly, George Peele. George Sandberg has coined the term university wit. These 7 wits are famously called Oxbridge scholars, Oxford plus Cambridge scholars. In 1572, Lord Leicester sought the permission to open theatre, and then he was given the permission in 1576 with the help of John Burbank. The first theatre was opened, which was called the theatre. Once the permission was given, everybody came with their own types of drama, and a kind of competition got started. Writers of Elizabethan drama. The first is John Lyly, whose birth and death is 1554 to 1606, known for court language. Aphanius or Antony of Wit, it was published in 1578. Then Euphonius and his England, it was published in 1580. The book have coined a new term, Epheos. Euphemism means highly refined way of speaking. He made Shakespeare to follow the court style. And the next writer is Thomas Lodge, whose time between 1557 to 1625. In this time, the Civil War is begin. The third is George Peele, whose time is 1558 to 1596, and he wrote first history play, which is Edward I, The Old Wives' Tale, which is a satire on a drama. Next is Thomas Kidd. His time is 1558 to 94. The perfect follower of Greek tragedies, especially Seneca, who was the first man to write a revenge tragedy. He imitated Senecan style of revenge tragedy and wrote Spanish tragedy in 1592. Other famous work is Pomfrey the Great. The next is Robert Greene. His time is 1560 to 92. He is the first critic of Shakespeare. He criticized Shakespeare by calling him an upstart crow in his growth worth of wit. He has written Orlando Furioso, which is based on artist of Orlando Furioso. The next writer is Thomas Nash, whose time is 1567 to 1601. He is also called the originator of Picarius novel. Picarius novel is in which we have vision-less character, visionless hero who find his motive, his vision in his journey. It is also called the journey of a wandering log, life of Jack Wilton, or the unfortunate travel as his other works. The next and most important university wit is Christopher Marlowe, whose time is 1564 to 1593. Christopher Marlowe is the first spy. He was working for Queen Elizabeth and he never attended university, although he is the part of the university wit. But in the university register, it is always mentioned that Christopher Marlowe was absent in the classes and most of the time he was away with the status work, controversy of Shakespeare, and Marlowe theory. Most of the people believe that Shakespeare is Marlowe or Marlowe is Shakespeare. Few people says Shakespeare must have killed Marlowe to be famous, and then few believe it is Marlowe who pretended to be dead and he started once again writing, being Shakespeare. Latest theory says that Christopher Marlowe pretended to be dead and he reintroduced himself as Shakespeare in disguise. Is simply based on a concept that Christopher Marlowe once wrote a pamphlet and he targeted Jesus Christ in it, calling him a gay. So, when the pamphlet was leaked, Queen Elizabeth launched some investigation, and later on, it was found that it was Christopher Marlowe who has written the pamphlet because Thomas Kidd, who was roommate of Marlowe in the university campus, he revealed that it is Christopher Marlowe who has written the pamphlet. Saying this, Queen Elizabeth gave him the death punishment. Though he was spy of Queen Elizabeth, she gave him death sentence. And to avoid this, Marlowe, as he knew this army is after him to catch, he must have pretended to be dead. As it is said, Christopher Marlowe died while he was drinking with his friend. He died in a kind of battle. Who will pay the bill? So, the topic or jug of war was who will pay the bill. He stabbed a person, William Birdley, and he was stabbed by Ingram finger. His body was not recovered. The question is why after Christopher Marlowe, Shakespeare started writing tragedies? Why he started using disguise? Christopher Marlowe hardly used disguise in his books, while Shakespeare seems to be only man in Elizabethan age who fond of writing disguised characters. Critics have studied that if we find the authentic photograph of Christopher Marlowe, we match it with the assumed photograph of Shakespeare. The gap of eyes is quite similar. Critics have analyzed that Shakespeare's signature and Marlowe's signature, the latter's S, have the same standard and pressure of the point. So, they still believed that Christopher Marlowe and Shakespeare both are the same people. We hardly know more about the parentage of Shakespeare. We simply believe that his village and he was accused of sparing a lamb of Mrs. Lukey. Queen Dido, not sure who wrote it, Marlowe or Nash. Christopher Marlowe is the first man to write one man tragedy, common man tragedy. Christopher Marlowe heroes are common men. For example, Tamburlaine. It is based on the king of Middle East, how he started his life as a shepherd, how he became the king of Middle East and his ambitious nature, while Dr. Faustus is again a scholar, common man, how he devotes himself to the studies and reaches to the heights. In fact, he calls the devil on the earth to meet him by his knowledge. The next is Jew of Malta. It is a common man, a common businessman. Tambourine, which was published in 1590, Tambourine's wife, Genocrate, and plays the same role that has been played by the Lady Macbeth in Macbeth. Some other works are Mascar at Paris, which was published in 1593, and Queen Dido, which was published in 1594. Dr. Faustus. Dr. Faustus is, let's see some of the summary of Dr. Faustus as it is very important according to exam point of view. Dr. Faustus is a scholar who has devoted himself to the study and has completed all the knowledge of the world. This is the time when he doesn't know what to do. He has completed every kind of book, knowledge, and mastered every subject. Here are two professors come, Cornelius and Valdez. These are the general professors, and they came to Faustus and telling Faustus that now you should explore the black magic. Dr. Faustus is a biblical play. It has the concept of good angel and bad angel. Here, the good angel tells Marlowe not to go to the black art, and the bad angel says go Faustus to the field which is unexplored. Faustus, being a Renaissance scholar, finally is convinced by German professor. Foster represents Renaissance character. When Marlowe starts studying black magic, as he is scholar, he achieves mastery in this. And finally, Mephistopheles came to meet him. Initially, Marlowe thinks that I have called Mephistopheles, but Maleficent makes it clear that we have seen your knowledge, your dedication towards black magic, and Lucifer, the god of devil, has sent me to serve you. Then there is a beautiful debate between Faustus and Mephistopheles. Faustus questions Mephis about life, death, hell, and heaven concept. Mephis keeps on denying to talk about life or good things. He says these things are related to God, and I am not allowed to talk about this. But when Faustus questions what is hell, Mephis says, I am hell. He says hell is in the state of mind. Hell is everywhere. You just create it. And the Faustus asks what kind of powers I will have. Mephisto says, except giving life to anyone, you can do anything. Here Faustus requests that I want to see Helen, give her life, and bring her back in front of me. Mephisto denies Helen is dead and we can't give her to life. But all I can do that I can fetch her soul in front of you. The question arises is that why Helen, according to Marlowe, is in the hell. Helen was already married to Menelaus, and when she eloped with Paris, it was not a love story, though it was a love story, but in biblical way, it has been called adultery, and Helen has been punished. Then Mephisto gets the soul of Helen from hell and he produces the soul in front of Faustus. Faustus looks at her and says, was this the face that launched thousands of ships and burned the top towers of aliens? Sweet Helen, make me immortal with the kiss. Then Helen kisses him. He says, my soul goes forth and all is waste, which is not Helen. Faustus becomes happy and he gets ready to join black people. Mephisto tells him that he has supposed to sign a bond, and to sign the bond, he will have to seal this bond with his own blood. Faustus cuts his wrist to take blood out, but his blood on the wrist gets frozen and a line comes homofuge. So the blood which is on the wrist of Faustus make few wordings in frozen way. It gets frozen and an inscription comes which is called homofuge, which means fly man, go away. Even the blood is giving the message him to go away. Do not get involved with this devil. Mephisto, saying that blood has been frozen, he disappears and comes with the burning flame. He melts the blood and makes Faustus sign. And again we have the Renaissance spirit where Faustus saying the power of black magic. He says, had I have the souls as the stars in the sky, I would have given it to Mephisto. I am after knowledge, I am after power. For this power, I can sacrifice millions of souls. Then, after signing a bond, he becomes very powerful. He starts troubling people. Finally, the last time has come, as it was. Finally, the last time come, as and if he joins the able people, he will be given the supreme power of 24 years. In his last time, Faustus realizes his powerful time was actually very small span of time. Now he have to die. Here he starts crying and starts praying Jesus to save him. He says, "Come, come, heal, fall on me, hide me from the wrath of Mephisto. Oh Jesus, a drop of blood, even a half drop of blood, would save my life. No, Mephisto, no, don't come." These are the last word of Dr. Faustus, and Mephisto comes and Faustus' body was brutally cut. Here we get the message by a Charles. Cut the branch that has grown into the laurels means we should cut every branch which is growing without any balance, any limit. So the branches are the desire, and Faustus was the true. He should have cut the branches, or his desire to maintain a balance. Means if God doesn't want us to do something, we should not do that. The next work of Christopher Marlowe is Jew of Malta. In this, Marlowe criticized Jews using a character, Barbus. It is supposed to be written about 1590, but this book has religious conflict as the fight of Jews and Christian. It has the concept of revenge tragedy because this Jew, he keeps on talking revenge from everyone, and the whole story set in Spain and Ottoman Empire. Machiavelli is the narrator. It is the only play where Machiavelli character. It is a character based on Niccolo Machiavelli ideology, a person whose philosophies are being inspired by Niccolo Machiavelli. The Machiavellian character, he opens the story with a prologue and say, "I am going to tell you the story of a tragedy of a Jew." The name of the character is Machiavelli. Machiavellian characters are highly ambitious characters, and those who do everything and justified to achieve high target. Here the character Jew Barbus, he was very rich. It is said that he has lot of money, more than Maltese government. One day a Turkish army attacks and they demand money. Maltese government forces Barbus to pay all these demands, and Barbus take an oath to take the revenge. Barbus is supported by his Jewish slave called Ithamor. They make a plan to take revenge, and Barbus is nominated as the governor. But one day Barbus realizes that Turkish prince himself is not good, and then Barbus makes a plan to boil them alive in hidden cauldron. But at the right moment, the Christian governor appears and Barbus becomes trapped in his own planning. He is thrown into the boiling cauldron and he dies. It is simply based on the concept of Jewish extinction or the Christians' hate against Jews. Now let's see the post-colonial study of Dr. Faustus. When Mephisto tells that our good god Lucifer is enlarging his kingdom, so the expansion of the boundaries is related to post-colonial tendencies. Faustus also wants to understand things and take control on each and everything. Would I have a book where I might see all characters and planets of heaven, that I might know the nations and dispositions, wherein I might see all planets and herbs and trees grow upon the earth? Mephisto gives Faustus all kinds of books to corrupt Faustus, he gives all the power. So, power corrupts him to make him go on bad ways. The famous line is, "O Faustus, lay that damned book aside and gaze not on it. Let it tempt the soul and heap God's heavy wreath upon the head." To colonize Faustus, the spirits want him to read good things because once he freed, he will read something different. His knowledge is coming from two sides, the ecclesiastical knowledge and the evil knowledge. Faustus has completed his ecclesiastical knowledge and he is young for the bad one. Go forward, Faustus, in that famous art wherein all nature's tragedy is contained. Hold, take this book, pursue it. Though ugly the entering of these lines being gold, pronounce this thrice devotedly to thyself, and men in armor shall appear to thee ready to execute what thou desire. The question arises is that when Faustus question about life and death, heaven and hell, evil angel answer, all things that move between the quiet pole shall be at your command. Emperor and kings are but obeyed in several provinces, but they can not raise the wind, they can't win the clouds, but to Faustus' dominion it will be executed. This is how Mephisto says you can do anything, and this term is related to high colonism, means he had been layered by the part of colonizing attempt, and Faustus is easily buried away, and he says, I will have them fly to India for gold. So the using term India for gold and unexplored Batarians are the parts of post colonial studies of Dr. Faustus. I will play Dinah myth. I will play Dinah in a line in Dr. Faustus. This is related to actual myth or Artemisia myth. Artemisia, a young goddess, was taking bath in forest where the young man, Actin, the hunter, he did not know that there is a lady taking bath, and eventually watched her taking bath without clothes. Then Artemisia noticed that, and she asked him not to speak anything. But being a hunter, he brought his dogs with him, and he heard when his dog got hurt. Then he started calling those dogs, and this is how he spoke. And Artemisia didn't like this. Then she converted Actin into dirt, and his own dogs started hunting him. He ran away but caught by his dogs and tore his body apart. This is how Actin got killed by his own loved one thing. The question arises is how this myth is applied on Faustus. As we notice in Dr. Faustus is after knowledge. He goes for a bond with Mephistophel. Here, Mephistophel in Artemisia, and Mephisto gives him the boon of superpower of 24 years. This is a kind of warning to him, and after 24 years, the death is sure. Here, Acton is Dr. Faustus because he rejects God and goes for the evil thing. Then he is hunted by his own desire or belongings. So those are the longings or desire of Dr. Faustus. Faustus loves knowledge, and knowledge killed him. I will play Diana. It is a line in the play where Faustus uses this reference, saying that I don't want to be Acton here and I want to be Diana. Faustus is totally dissatisfied with his studies. He wants to get more knowledge and he feels there is a lot to be gratified. This is the reason he comes in contact with two German professors, Valges and Colnius. Here we have religious reference that the Germans are Jews, and these Jew professor they ask Faustus to go for black magic. When Faustus starts studying magic, being a scholar, he achieved perfection very soon in the studies. And one day he find Mephistopheles, who is ugly person and very scary. Mephisto says, I am here to meet you. But Faustus is not happy with the presence of Mephisto as a devil. He asks him to go back and come as friar. Faustus and Mephisto have debate where Mephisto corrects Faustus, saying that it is not your power which has brought me back from hell to meet you. It is our will. We want to meet you. Then Faustus says that Mephisto answers because the god Lucifer is happy to seeing the dedication to black magic and we want to enhance your skill. Faustus question that why your king needs me and here Mephisto replies in Latin, saying Solem miseris socio habeas doloris. A message here is it's a comfort to the ridiculed to have companion in misery. He says that the victimized person is our Lucifer. If he has company, he will be very much comfortable and we want you to be with us. Here they have a debate where good angel and bad angel they constantly appear and they ask Faustus not to join. Then Mephisto gives him an offer. If Faustus gets ready to deliver his soul after 24 years, he will be given the supreme power. Here Faustus doesn't agree easily. He questions and talk a lot and he says that I will use the power for good purpose. But when he is ready to sign the bond with his blood, he cuts his wrist and inscription appears on the wrist which is written homofuge. His blood gets frozen and frozen blood makes writing homofuge, a Latin inscription which means go or fly back. But seeing this, that the god is giving message to Faustus not to sign the bond, Mephisto gets scared and he eventually called entertainer dancer in front of Faustus that he can be diverted. Faustus' attention is diverted to performer from homofuge and this is the time when Mephisto disappears and written with a burning brand he melts Faustus' blood and makes him sign the bond. After signing the bond, Mephisto gives all supreme power to Faustus, but there is a message that power corrupts a man, and Faustus forgets his will to help for good and gets corrupted with supreme power. After this, Lucifer and Mephisto they both appear in the parade of seven deadly sins. Then Mephisto takes Faustus to the private chamber of Pope where they become invisible and start troubling the Pope. After this, they go to the German Emperor who is in the court and they conjure the soul of the Alexander the Great. After this, when they are in the court, a knight he questioned his power, saying that you don't have power, you have been befooled. And Faustus responded by making horn grown up on his head. This is how Faustus is using his power in a wrong way. After returning, his friends and scholars they request him to see Helen, and Faustus summons Helen's soul. Seeing the face of the soul, They got astonished, and Faustus says, "Was this the feast that launched you through sand ships and burned the topless tower of William's sweet Helen? Make me immortal, wits the kiss." This is how he passed his 24 hours, and he realizes that he is going to die, and waiting for the midnight when 1 hour is left, he starts praying and says, "A drop of blood would save my life. No, Mephisto, don't come." But Mephisto appears in the and in lightning show, and he takes his soul away. The famous setting of Dr. Faustus is in medieval Wittenberg, Germany, papal place in Rome, the court of Carlos, King of Spain, and the Holy Roman Emperor. In Act 3 and 4, Faustus also go for the travel of world, and then he explored the stars. He says that, "Had I have had souls as the stars in the sky, I would have given it to Mephisto." When he goes to travel in the star in space, he says, "I will start tour and travel company." When he signs the bond, he is in Germany. Helen is just a frame of mind. He that loves pleasure must for pleasure fall. Feminist element. There are two women characters in scene 12. When Helen appears, she is a silent character. The first female character is the Duchess of Venalt. Jews were banished from England and they were readmitted in England in 1655. The question arises is that why Christopher Marlowe uses German professor as misguiding person? Because Cornelius and Wales, they both were Jews, and was the moment of anti-Semitism. Jews were taken as who were against Christian or those who misguide Christian. Mephisto diverts Faustus from reading Homophage by the dancers and music. When Faustus came last time, he was with the scholar who are telling him that this is the time to repent, Faustus. He says that, "Friends, you should pray for me." When Faustus was all alone, he keeps on saying, "Oh Christ, save me, a drop of blood would save my life." He says, "Punish me for the thousands of years, but do not punish me to the eternity." The presence of Satan in Paradise Lost and presence of Lucifer in Dr. Faustus, they say, "I am hell." Famous quotes are when Faustus says, "Mephistopheles, tell me what good will my soul to the Lord." Then Mephistopheles says, "Enlarge this kingdom." Is that the reason he tempt is thus? Faustus says, and Mephistopheles claims, "Solomon misere socio habicus doloris." It is a comfort to the wretched to have companion in misery. Mephisto, he that loves pleasure must for pleasure fall. Hell is just a frame of mind. When Faustus questions the concept of heaven and hell, Mephisto says, "Why this is hell, nor I am out of it. Think thou that I will show the face of God and taste it the eternal joys of heaven. I am not tormented with 10,000 hells. I am being deprived of everlasting bliss." Within the power of this element, where we are tortured and remain forever, hell hath no limits, nor is circumscribed in oneself place. For where we are in hell, and where hell is, must we ever be. And to conclude, when all the world dissolve, and every creature shall be purified, all places shall be hell, that is not heaven. When Faustus is going to die, The good angel comes and says, "What men are thou fosters, but a man condemned to die?" Last chorus, cut the branch which has grown up to the corals. Marlowe didn't write a single comedy. His next play is Tamburlaine, which was published in 1590. It tells the story of Tamur, great warrior of Mid-East. He has been praised Tamur. Tamur was the Muslim warrior, but Marlowe, Tamur is from Sicyon, shepherd. He was against Christian. Tamburlaine was a shepherd married to a girl Genocrate. He fought to become powerful, and he fought with his own father-in-law to be the best. He had everything, but he was unhappy because his son was coward. His son didn't join the fight and had himself Tamp was worried about his future because his son would not take care of him. Tam once won a battle and celebrated on the name of his son, telling people that it's his son who won the battle. Finally, he went to a battle and again his son ran away from the battle. Then, in anger, Tam killed his own son and declared that he did like a martyr. Here is a scene of burning Holy Quran, Tam actually challenging God. So that's all about today's session. In next session, we will talk about William Shakespeare and his great plays, tragedies, comedies, stories, etc. Thank you so much for listening so carefully.